The host of CNBC's Billion Dollar Buyer says that all of us non-billionaires need to stop paying so much attention to alleged billionaire Donald Trump's conflicts of interest. They think that we're just getting worked up over nothing. Let's watch.
He's the president-elect, okay? He is going to have conflicts of interest, okay? He is no more putting it in a blind trust. That is the smartest thing anybody said, Megan, is what you just said, okay? Exactly. That's why we elected him president. It's because he's a true chief executive officer, and he knows how to tell people what to do. He needs to put one of his kids in charge of the business who comes to no meetings at the White House ever, okay? But you are not going to stop him from talking to his one son that is running the business, okay? We're all smoking something. It's his business. It's a family business. A blind trust means you have a trustee that can just sell it. It's never happening. Get used to his little conflicts. He isn't going to do anything major. But the media is going to watch him, but he is going to have some conflicts. You can't help it, okay? That's why we elected him president, though, Stephanie.
Not why we elected him president. You can help it if you actually make him comply with the law. And I don't know Tilman Fertitta. I don't know anything about his political views other than the fact that he seems giddy about the possibility of Donald Trump becoming president. But the way I view that is the same as like back 15 years ago as like the Russian oligarchs started to take over. One of them being just, don't worry about it if they start to gobble up former state-run industries and start to accrue all of the state money for themselves. Don't worry about it. That's why we elected them in the first place. I don't need a billionaire to tell me that I shouldn't be worried about a billionaire who's sharing state information with members of his family, having them sit on meetings. He said there, as long as they don't sit on the meetings, they already have, and he's not even president yet.
Yeah, but whether they sit in on meetings or not, it doesn't really matter, okay? Because at the end of the day, these are huge buildings, hotels, resorts, whatever it is, that have Trump's name on it, right? And so the big issue here is Trump using his position as Commander-in-Chief of the United States of America to have certain preferential treatment among world leaders throughout the world, right? And so there's the issue of, whether or not he is going to be able to influence his ability to get some of his foreign workers into the country, right? He's going to be able to choose who the Secretary of Homeland Security is, right? His vineyards in Virginia, he requested 6 H-2A visas. That's to allow low-paid foreign workers to come into the country. Weird, low-paid foreign workers? Why do you want that? What about Americans? We're not creating American jobs.
That's going to make jobs.
What happened with that? Anyway, so of course there's a conflict of interest there because if he's able to choose who the Secretary of Homeland Security is going to be, and that's an individual who has influence over whether or not he gets those visas for those foreign workers, conflict of interest. You don't want the president using his position to, increase his business, ventures or get preferential treatment or to just profit. If that's the only reason why he wants to be president, then he has no interest in draining the swamp. He has no interest in protecting American workers. He has no interest in any of that. He'll go around taking credit for creating jobs that he actually didn't create and had nothing to do with, which was the case with the Sprint story from last week. But overall, he's not really that interested in protecting Americans or draining the swamp. He's interested in making sure that he gets what he wants from world leaders when it comes to his resorts in other countries.
Yeah, and look, we talk a lot on the program about like the bubbles that people exist in and certain things that you grow accustomed to because of the way you live and the people that you talk with, the sphere that you're in or whatever. And maybe I'm just not much of a billionaire, I guess. And so I don't understand when you become president, you get, I guess, your life's dream to run the country you supposedly love and you become the most powerful person in the world, why you can't simply sell off your goddamn hotels. How childish that you are going to run the most powerful country in the history of the planet, and you care about little buildings with swimming pools and golf courses. Why do you care about that stuff? Sell it. Put it in an actual blind trust. You will still supposedly be a billionaire. Why are you focused on this petty business bullshit?
I don't.
Because we know why he is.
I don't believe that he's a billionaire. I don't believe that he's actually interested in being a true president, right? I think what he is interested in is paying off his debts, getting the preferential treatment that we've talked about. The Atlantic has a really great comprehensive piece. I linked to it in my Facebook page, so if you guys want to read it, check it out. It lists all the different potential conflicts of interest he has, which, by the way, might have some constitutional issues under the emoluments clause, right? And so if he was really a billionaire, as he claims that he is, the recent event that he had in Mar-a-Lago, which had nothing to do with charity, which had nothing to do with a political event meant to raise money for a political issue, he had that event there and charged people a minimum of $500 just to make money.
Yeah.
He made
$450,000.
$450,000 just to make money. But just for him, just to make money. As a billionaire, why would you do something that risky just to make less than $500,000? I don't buy it for a second.
Maybe he doesn't think it's that risky. Look,
well, obviously it isn't, because he did it and he got away with it,
Yeah,
right? But a billionaire wouldn't do it.
No. And I feel like at this point that we're just talking to the country doesn't care.
No, well, they don't.
I mean,
so
we've seen this in so many different countries around the world that they get in, especially families like this, and they just start sucking up the money. And people who supposedly care about corruption, who talked all throughout the primary and the general election about corruption, suddenly now when it comes to Trump and the obvious conflicts of interest, show no interest whatsoever. And we're talking about the future of our country. I mean, the more money they steal, the less we have to go around for all the other progressive priorities we have. And I feel like people just don't care. And because it's Trump, they're not interested. They think, oh, it's just more Trump stuff. No, we're talking about vital conflicts of interest.
Well, I think there's the camp that thinks, oh, it's just more Trump stuff, and they might be fatigued from it. But when it comes to his base and the people who supported him from the beginning, when you would talk to them, when Jordan Sheridan would interview them, what was one of the number one reasons they claimed they voted for him or that they were supporting him?
Kill darkies.
Well,
okay.
No, they
oh,
wouldn't say
sorry,
that.
it was just economic concerns that driven them. They don't have any racial resentment. I apologize.
One of their arguments was, he's running all these successful businesses. So they voted for him knowing full well that he is running all these businesses, whether they're successful or not, right? And that was a selling point for them. For them, that was one of the main reasons. Like, okay, if he can do this, then he can run the country. He can improve our economy. So when they hear about these conflicts of interest, of course they're going to brush it off, right?
I don't even think they think about the different ways that a president can benefit his businesses.
Yeah.
Anyway, look, it's a complicated thing. We're going to continue to look in on it. But I already feel sick to my stomach about what's going to happen. And look, a lot of it we might never end up seeing. Because when he has a private meeting with the president of some country, will we even know that his family members are in there? He routinely just doesn't allow the press to travel with him. And so a lot of the looting that's going to go on, we may never actually know about. And I'm just worried that going into it, that people are already too apathetic, too fatigued, and don't care to watch out for it.
Get the full 2-hour show ad-free. Become a member, tytnetwork.com/join.